Hello, hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Adventure School. If you didn't already know, it's a series that I do with my company Splice Clothing, where we invite well-traveled guests on to talk about things that can help you adventure easier. So today we're going to have Jovanni on. He is a bag reviewer, a one-bag traveler. He is a let me get him on here too. He writes about traveling. Um, hey, thank you for joining. So he's going to tell us all about how he is able to pack light. Hey, how are you?
Hey, how's it going? Am I sideways?
You're a little bit sideways.
All right. All right.
There you go. Perfect. Hello, thank you for joining.
Yeah, no problem. My pleasure.
All right, so turning the volume up. Okay. So, like I was saying, this is Jovanni. So he is a one-bag traveler. I connected with him a long time ago. And he writes about traveling. He reviews different bags, like backpacks, things like that. And he writes for different, I guess I'll let you explain because you know better than me. But if you want to talk a little bit about yourself and about your experience as a one-bag traveler and what that means to you.
Yeah, so aside from having my own personal website of thetraveler.com where I put, stories of my travels and my wife's travels, I also write bag reviews and some editorials for carryology.com, which is, one of the premier websites for everything having to do with carry on the internet. And also, I like just writing. I have a YouTube channel about bags as well. And I've been one bag traveling now for a few years. And it actually all started with a trip that my family took to Europe back in 1999. I wrote about it in the interview that you and I had, early on in the pandemic. How my family it was five of us, and we had like 15 bags, and it was a disaster. It was so bad. It kind of reminds me the pictures and videos that you show of you with your giant bag and how miserable you looked. So I feel the same way. So for me, having one bag is freedom, not having to worry about how much I'm carrying. If I forgot it on the train, if I forgot it at the airport, it's just I have this one thing and it has everything I need. And to me, that makes traveling significantly more enjoyable.
Yeah, totally agree. That's I don't think people realize sometimes like that you just have to keep track of everything. Because I know when I've traveled with a lot of stuff that I have definitely left things along the way and it just kind of happens. And when you just have less stuff to keep track of, it just makes it so much easier to just like pick up and go. Like know that you've got everything. So that's a huge thing. And I was gonna ask you about your family thing because I remember reading that story again about how your dad was just like super upset, just
Yeah.
having all the stuff that he was like, I'm just bringing a plastic bag of food
Yeah,
next time.
it was funny because we were walking the planks in Venice because Venice was flooded. We got there at like 11 o'clock at night. It was dark, flooded, and every one of us had like 4 bags apiece. And this one guy went up to my dad to sell him a rose, and my dad just like flipped out on him. We still talk about that story.
Because it's so frustrating when you're like lost and you have a bunch of stuff. That's rough. So yeah, that's why it's like one bag travel or at least pack light and just make it easier on yourself.
Okay.
I don't know if you can. I turned my volume all the way up and you're a little hard to hear, so I don't know if there's like a microphone or something.
Maybe better.
A little bit.
Okay.
It's really quiet. But if not, we'll just go with it.
Okay.
Let's see.
Maybe I'll speak up a little bit.
Okay. I'll listen really hard. Hopefully everybody can hear you. Or if anyone has some feedback if you're watching. Okay, so one bag travel. So you literally travel with one bag, like all the time, no matter where, basically.
Yeah, I mean, unless I'm going on a cruise or something like that, then I'll take a big bag. That's a little bit different. But if I'm traveling to Europe or something like that, like our last trip to Europe was Austria, and I only took one bag. I mean, one bag. I mean, if you want to get technical about it, it's 2 bags because I do take my larger backpack that has everything, but then I'll bring something like this. This is from Track. It's a sling bag. So what I'll end up doing for the sake of efficiency is I might pack like toiletries in there And then once I get to my destination, I will take all the toiletries out and just use that to travel around the town. Because that sling by itself is about 6 liters, and that's
Okay.
enough for everything that I'm going to need. I mean, I could pack a rain shell in here, plus a wallet, plus keys, plus a battery charger and cables and my diabetes stuff. I mean, on and on and on. And that's all. That's all I really need.
Yeah, yeah. It's like you have like a day bag, so like you can have everything and then like swap it out for like the everyday
Yeah.
like stuff where you're going and everything. Yeah, I agree. That's why I don't say that I am like a one bag traveler because I usually do have a backpack, but sometimes I'll bring a day pack with me also. Like I do, it'll be a carry on and a personal item basically. Um, but my personal item will usually have like the electronics and yeah, like the cords and like maybe like the things that you need like quick access to or something. And then once I'm in a destination, I can leave my other bag there. Then the day bag is what I have, a rain jacket in or an extra jacket in if I'm going out for the whole day. So
Yeah.
same idea, I think.
And you touch on something that's interesting, which is getting to things quickly and efficiently. And sometimes it's funny because when I see people packing stuff, like even on advertisements for bags, they'll just have the clothes laid out in the bag, and they'll have their cables and all their stuff in like the organization of the bag. And a lot of bags do come with built-in organization, and that's fine if that's how you want to pack. But for me, I found that packing things in smaller pouches makes it significantly easier to find what I need, pack it, unpack it, get rid of it, keep it. Like for instance, one of the things that I keep on me all the time is my tech kit, which I put in my backpack. But I take a little tech kit with me, and that if I need to get any cables, any chargers, or anything, it's in there. Actually, Cynthia's gonna grab it for me. It's in the top pocket. Yeah,
I have something like that. Right here. Like something like this, where it's like this is like all the cords and whatever chargers. Yeah, exactly. Same thing.
Yeah. So this is a Bellroy tech kit, and this has everything that I need, and
Nice.
it helps me keep all my stuff, all my tech stuff is in there. Because one of the other things is being efficient in what you pack. So like for instance, this is a charger. Like if you're traveling, in the States or even outside of the States, if you're in Europe, you could just get an adapter. But this has 4 ports for USB devices, and that's all you need. Like how many things are you charging at the same time?
Right.
So this is all I bring. This and 2 cables is all I need to charge everything.
Right, and it charges it all at once.
Mm-hmm.
You just charge that one thing, and then that charges all the other things later on.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree. So the other thing, I know you have like probably lots of gear that you could like share with us. I'm going to ask you at the end kind of your recommendations, but I want to ask you because I know that I know you have a daughter, so and I know that your wife maybe wasn't as quick to want to be a pack lighter or a one bag traveler, and maybe it's a little harder now with a baby.
Yeah.
So is there any advice that you have for that? Like, do you try to keep like the kid stuff to a minimum also, or is that a little bit harder? I don't know from experience, but I thought maybe you can talk about that.
Yeah, in terms of airline travel, we've only gone to Virginia so far with Luna. We've done a few road trips and things like that, but when it came to flying to Virginia, I mean, where we were going, they have grocery stores. They have CVS's and Walgreens or whatever. So when it came to traveling, we only took a set amount of diapers and milk and the stuff that, the expendable things.
Yeah.
So that when we got there, once we got to our destination, we could buy things there. So that helped us to lower the amount of stuff that we needed. But yeah, definitely having Luna, our daughter, being just a year and a half, does come with a lot more things. So we have had to expand how much stuff that we bring on the trips. I still keep it to one bag so that we can just pack everything else in the other bags. So if we're allotted a certain amount on the flight, that's mostly Luna stuff and my wife's stuff. So for me, I just take a backpack.
Nice. Yeah, keep it easy. At least keep your stuff to a minimum so that if you have to bring a few more things for your kid and your wife, it's not so overwhelming. But yeah, that's a great point too, and that's something I always like to tell people is I know sometimes we're very particular about maybe like some shampoos or things like that. But when you're traveling, especially if you're going to travel like a little bit longer, or if you're going to travel somewhere and where it's kind of like home and you can buy the same types of things, or your Airbnb or your hotel is going to provide it, like it's not necessary to bring like every single like comfort from home because you're going to have access to that. And the case is that most places around the world sell the same types of things. Like there'll be some places that you may be hard pressed to find
Yeah.
something very specific, but maybe if you're traveling for a while, you can go without like something very specific. And the thing people use the same things all over the world, so you'll be able to
Yeah.
find something.
Yeah, you'll be hard pressed to travel to a place that doesn't have shampoo or conditioner or soap or something like that. I mean, if you're going to a place that doesn't have it, you know that you're going to a place that doesn't have that stuff.
Yes,
Kind of
right.
a funny story. We went to Switzerland back in 2018, and we didn't pack any of that stuff. We get there, and we went to a pharmacy, and apparently in Switzerland, pharmacies sell only very high-end shampoos and conditioners and stuff. So we
Yeah.
get there thinking that it's like CVS, Walgreens here. We're like, all right, we're just gonna buy some stuff, and we bought like this $16 bottle of shampoo. And then eventually we got to another grocery store and it was $4. And I'm like, what did we buy? But I'll tell you what, though, it was very expensive, but it smelled delicious. It was awesome.
There you go.
Yeah.
So it was like an extra like luxurious part of
Yeah.
vacation.
Yeah.
And I bet like since you were in Switzerland, I haven't been there, but I've heard that it's pretty expensive. Maybe you were like, oh, maybe shampoo just is $16.
Yeah, that's what we thought. We're like, oh, okay, I guess, it's just an expensive place.
Right, exactly. Like, oh, it's just a little bit more expensive shampoo
Yeah.
here. Well, yeah, stuff like that is, in the grand scheme of things, it's like, well, I spent a few more dollars on shampoo, but
Yeah.
probably not a huge deal. Okay, so in terms of bags, since you review bags and you write for Curiology and you get a lot of backpacks that you're able to like check out, what are some of your things that you look for in a good backpack, or especially when it comes to like packing light or doing one bag travel light? What are some must-haves?
Okay, so the main cavity needs to be open. So kind of like having a luggage where it's just like an open cavity. The bag has to have that. Me personally, I don't like bags that have a lot of organization built in because I already pack most of my stuff in smaller pouches, which is what I recommend. But there are some companies that have lots of organization built in. But for me, I like bags that don't have a lot of organization in them already because I like, I have a particular style of packing. One of the things that people need to look for is weatherproofness, because I think just about every trip we've gone on, we've been rained on at some point. So having a bag that's made out of some moisture absorbing fabric is not going to be great. So in that, you also want to make sure that the zippers are weatherproof zippers and also strong. So a lot of times we'll see cheap bags, maybe something on Amazon that it's like $50 and like, oh, this is a travel bag, or $70, like, oh, this is a travel bag. But when you pack that out and you're running for a train or going through an airport because you're about to miss your connection and your zipper pops, then yeah, you may have wanted to go for something a little bit more with higher quality. So those are things. Those are things that I look for. Just strengthen the zippers and a good open cavity in terms of the capacity. So there are some kind of benchmarks, like 26 liters is kind of minimalist, like minimal travel. Which is what I traveled to Virginia with is a backpack called the Belroy Apex, which that one is 26 liters. Do you want me to show it to you? I have a few things here. Let me see if I can grab it.
And I like how you're bringing up too about the organization, because I preach about packing cans.
Yeah, so
I like that.
So this is the Belroy Apex, and this is excellent bag. It opens up. It does a lot of different things, but it's really just convenient in that. Let me see if I can open this up. Yeah, so it opens up, and it's just like a large opening to it. And Cynthia's gonna help me out here.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah. Thank you for your help.
Yeah, so it opens up completely.
Nice.
And what's kind of cool about this is that you have like these two kind of mesh pockets that when they're not in use, they kind of hide away. But you can put a bottle in here. You could put anything, laptop sleeve, organizer. but that is 26 liters worth. And you can minimalist pack for a week-long trip using that. Let me show you something else in terms of something else that I use quite often that a lot of people in the carry community, as soon as they see it, they'll recognize it. This is the GoRuck GR1, but this is the heritage version. So it's made out of waxed canvas. It's very water resistant. And then boom, it's like essentially what I was talking about. It's just like an open cavity. You can stuff a ton of things in there. So that's, again, 26 liters, but also very, very minimal.
Awesome.
Can I show you the one that I'm using right now?
Yeah, please.
All right. So the one that I'm using right now is, and I just posted a review not too long ago of it on my YouTube channel. This is the Bellroy Transit Plus.
What is it called?
The Bellroy Transit Plus.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, like, Cynthia, we'll open it together, and I'll show you kind of how I packed this out. So you see, I have a rain shell in there. Let me get rid of this.
Yeah.
This is my small packing cube. This is from a company called Trokke, Trakke, from Scotland. This is a wax canvas packing cube. So I put like socks and underwear and stuff in there. So toiletry kit, all the toiletries. And this is my big, there's the name of the company.
Trakke.
Yeah. And then this is my big packing cube. So in here, I have 2 pairs of pants, 7 shirts, and 2 shorts.
Nice.
So that's enough for,
yeah.
So you see here, that's the capacity or the cavity that I'm talking about. Just having.
I like that. It's nice and clean. It's like just simple and easy.
Yeah, and then one of the things I love about this bag is just like how cool and comfortable it is. Like it has like nice ribbed padding here. It has an air channel in the middle. The straps are very comfortable. Just like a very good high quality bag.
Yeah.
That was show and tell. Thanks, baby.
Yes, thank you. That was a great explanation. And about the straps too, I think it's really important for people to remember when they're picking a bag that it's probably a good idea that you need to like try them on and everything, because the straps are different. And I don't know about you, but I usually like backpacks that have the there's like the sternum. What is it called?
The sternum strap. Yeah,
the sternum strap, and then there's one that goes like around your waist sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I like backpacks that have that, even if they're on the smaller side, because that just makes it all around more comfortable. So I usually look for that too. But there's so many like people, I don't know if everyone realizes how much like packing light, there's so many elements to it. It's not just what you pack, but it's like what you pack in and all the little organization methods and everything that goes along with it. But I know you have a lot of good information on your site. I'll check out your YouTube channel and all your reviews for carryology and everything. So we'll link that for everybody. But other than that, is there any like parting information you want to leave everyone about one bag?
Of course, I know you're a clothing brand, so having clothing that can serve multiple functions is killer. That's it's super important to have clothing that you can wear multiple times throughout your trip. For me, lately, I've been using a lot of merino wool stuff. So merino wool short shirts specifically, because merino wool is a magical fabric. It is so good. So at least, for guys, having a merino wool shirt, you can wear it for 3 days straight. I mean, there's a company that's talking about, wear our shirt 7 days straight. There's even one that I believe says wear the shirt for 30 days straight and see if it smells afterwards, which sounds a little gross to me, but hey man, if you need to do it, I guess you need to do it.
Whatever you gotta do.
but stuff that's quick drying makes a huge difference. So whenever I travel, all the underwear that I take and all the socks is either ex officio. There's a particular type called the sports mesh, Give and Go sports mesh, and that is odor resistant. It dries very quickly. Same thing with wool socks. Wool socks are super odor resistant, also dry really quickly. So for me, when I pack that kind of thing, I only take like maybe 3-4 sets. And then I'll just wash them in the bathroom, and by the next morning they're dry.
Exactly.
Just something to just keep in mind to pick good fabric. So I know that you with Splice do that. Cynthia has a bunch of Splice stuff, and it's always been good for traveling.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, that's true. With wool, I do find it's a little hard to make wool reversible. So that's kind of like something that I'm like continually trying to find. And plus, like wool is it's just I don't know. They're not making it like that. And there's some fabrics that are like already on the market that are I'm able to make reversible like easier. So in a long-term scheme, I'd like to have some wool stuff, but like it's a process. Like everybody is trying to, get better fabrics and more what's the word? Not like scientific, but they're just trying to make more like technical fabrics.
Yeah.
So as we get further with that, I think a lot more things will become wool. But yes, everybody in the travel community like always raves about wool, and I agree. But the number one thing I think I agree is definitely quick drying, which that's really important to me about having all the clothes are reversible, but I don't want to give people like reversible things that are really thick or really heavy because what's the point? Then you can just pack 2 shirts. It doesn't matter. So yeah, if you can take it, and I did this, I just went to Austin a few weeks ago. I took my shirt before I took a shower, I put the water on, and I just put a bunch of soap on it, washed it, and hung it up, and it was dry the next morning. I wore it again. So that's huge too. If you're gonna pack light, you have to think about things like that too. You might even have to pack, some of those there's little like washing things that are just like little papers that you like get wet, and now they're laundry soap. It's crazy how much cool stuff is out there.
Yeah, one of the brands that I've been shopping with a lot is a company they only do men's clothing, but they've been working on some material that's it's like cotton but spun with nylon with it as well. So talking about like technical fabrics, it's like super technical. It's not merino or wool, but it also has some of those same properties where it's like quick drying, really easy to wash, just spill resistant, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true, and that's like wool is really good for a lot of things, but there's like other fabric, like there's so many fabrics that have like individual good properties about them too. Like bamboo is really good for quick drying and not smelling and everything. And lyocell is really good for like keeping you cool, things like that, being quick drying, and it's sustainable. So it's so hard. There's so many good options out there.
Can I tell you a story about bamboo?
Please.
Okay, so it's a few years ago, maybe like 8 years ago, Cynthia and I were on a cruise, and they were talking about we're in Jamaica, and they're like, oh, you need to visit this store in Jamaica because they have bamboo. And did you know that bamboo is the most renewable resource on the planet? You can always get bamboo everywhere. I'm like, okay, it sounds like this miracle fabric. Since it's super renewable, maybe it's not going to be that expensive. It was like $105 a shirt. I was like, are you kidding me with this?
Yeah. That's the thing. That's hard too. It's always a balance between like getting the best stuff and making it like economical for customers. It is hard. But bamboo is really good, and bamboo is kind of like a good replacement for cotton because it can still be really soft. Like, because cotton, we'll just add this to it. Cotton is not the best for traveling because it's not something that dries really quickly, and it does hold on to moisture. So if you sweat, like it's gonna probably smell. I had a mentor last year when I was like starting my company, and he was asking me something about, oh, what about cotton this, cotton that? And he's not someone who's in the clothing industry. He's just like a business mentor. So I had to kind of give him this lesson. I'm like, well, like I don't want to do cotton because, all these reasons. And he's like, oh, you just told me something I didn't know. I've been traveling with like cotton jackets like my whole life, whatever. And even too, I feel like it's an education thing for people who don't know, because I will even do a poll on Instagram and I'll say, what do you want to see more of? And there'll always be votes for cotton. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do cotton. I'm going to stay away from cotton as much as I can. And even the new sweater that we have coming out, it's modal and acrylic. So the modal is keeping it soft. It makes it quick dry. It's still lightweight and it's completely reversible. So it's not cotton, but it still feels soft like a cotton, which I think that's the thing we have to change in people's mind, is that it doesn't have to be cotton to be soft. It can be, other materials can be soft. Oh, and polyester even doesn't have to be that old nice days tracksuit you saw. Polyester can feel so many different ways. It all depends on the blend and how they finish the fabric. There's so many ways to go with this.
No, but kudos to you for going through the process of trying to find materials that make sense for travelers and for efficiency. Because I imagine as a clothing brand, it's easy to go with a cheaper fabric. Like, let's say I'm just going to go with cotton because that's what everybody knows, that's what everybody's comfortable with, and just doing that. But
Yeah.
then that produces a bad customer experience, because then after like a day's use and sweating, then that person who's going to be wherever they are will be like, man, this clothes kind of stinks, or this thing has been wet for 32 hours. Like what's going on here? So with you doing the legwork and producing a better product for your customer, it really helps with them having a better experience while they're out there. So kudos to you for that.
I mean, my whole thing is I just want to make adventure easy. And the way that I am contributing to that is by helping people pack light. So hopefully between the clothing and doing these little adventure school things and like giving some tips to everyone, it's making everyone's adventures a little bit easier. That's all I really have for you. Oh, I think we might have a question. I think the argument for cotton too is environment friendly, easy to break down kind of thing, but I think having a more longer lasting piece of clothing that you use for several years is better than. So with cotton, okay, we'll just go into this real quick before we end it. So cotton also, it seems really environmentally friendly. And there's a lot of fabrics that are environmentally friendly, but cotton actually takes like some of the most water. It's a crop that takes some of the most water to grow versus all other crops, even some food crops. So I don't know the exact numbers because I didn't memorize it, but you know, to grow like 1 yard of cotton fabric that's spun takes like hundreds of gallons of water, whatever the number is. Maybe somebody knows off the top of their head. But it's not something that's super environmentally friendly off the surface, but that's something that the marketing of cotton has done really well to make you think. So lyocell, like I'm wearing my Dubai reversal snap up here right now. Lyocell is actually a much more sustainable fabric. It's made from eucalyptus tree fiber, and it's 100%. It's not blended with anything. And eucalyptus, at the end of its life cycle for lyocell, it'll actually like break down and, you know, if you compost it, so it'll go back into the environment. It's like one of the only circular fabrics that exists right now is Tencel and lyocell. So cotton is super soft, and we all like it because it's something that's grown and it's not man-made or synthetic like polyester, but it actually takes a lot of resources to create it. So it's not the #1 best fast fashion. Okay, yeah, fast fashion that you only wear a short period of time. True. And that's another thing too. Sometimes like cheap stuff is not the best, obviously, because it falls apart. You want something that's going to last you a while, especially if, like, when I was traveling for 9 months, I have a jacket that I wore to death, and by the end of it, it just like it stood up pretty well, but I have part of my cuff is like falling off, like the edging on it, which I could fix, but I haven't done it yet. But yeah, so anyway, I just wanted to say thank you for that comment, and also thank you, Jovanni, for joining us. I think you had a lot of great points. I'm going to share with everybody your YouTube channel and your website and everything, so if people have any questions, and of course, you can go, I'm sure, DM you if you have one bag travel questions. And that's all I've got. So thank you so much, and thank you guys for joining Adventure School. Have a great day.
Thanks, Ash. Bye.
Thanks.